Hi, so Charlie giving you Monday's update and a fairly quick one today. So I just wanted to go back over this euro dollar. If you remember from last week's video, I talked about this pattern that was in play and the potential for the euro dollar to come down. So remember, I was talking about this horizontal resistance that was in play, and that very often when a market keeps on coming up to test, then it will need to fail in order to take out the stops of the last prior lows, which is from here and here. So, and that's exactly what's happened this week. So we were quite well positioned on Thursday in the trading room when that happened, and managed to capitalize on a decent enough portion of that downside move. And now, and I talked about this trend line that was in place. So now we're at this point where, okay, well, what happens now? Because the euro dollar has come to this trend line that's been in place since March, which I've been talking about. We've taken out those lows. And do we just start to carry on coming lower now? Now, obviously, we've got FOMC this week. We've got a bit of news out this week as we move into the week. So FOMC, not expecting a rate hike from the Feds this week. So not expecting any changes there. But it doesn't really matter. That may help the euro dollar just sort of consolidate a little bit and maybe then put in a bit of a bounce. I don't know. But at the moment, we are against this trend line, so we've got to watch and see how the price action is going to start to build, and then I'll get a better idea as to where we go to from next. And where do we go to from next? Do we start to carry on coming lower, or do we hold and then we go for that big move back up? So what I'm looking for is to see we can come lower first of all. So we could easily come down into the 109s, I guess now. But for me, what's going to be interesting now is to see whether we do start to hold and whether eventually we can consolidate enough and then start to mount another attack back on the long side. So, but that's something which could take months to develop. So for now, obviously the short-term momentum has switched to the downside, and we need to see how that's going to play out. But certainly for now, we've taken out those stops from those last prior lows, and so things have changed a little bit here for the euro dollar, and it's a case of is it going to start to march lower now and head down and take these lows out from July, or where do we go to from here? So all I'm doing right now is playing a waiting game to see how we consolidate, how this euro dollar moves as we go through in this week through to FOMC on Wednesday, and then I'll have a better picture as to what I feel might be happening. But if we do consolidate and we hold, then I will be keeping my eye out for strength to come back in the coming weeks. But we'll really have to see. It was a fairly bearish rhetoric that Draghi was talking about last week. So that scenario, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. It really depends on what's going on with the Fed as well as we go forwards over the coming months. So for now, I'm sitting back waiting to see, and had a nice run down. We capitalized on that, and now just sitting on the sidelines. One market I do want to draw your attention to, again, I talked about this recently, is this Aussie dollar. And if this Aussie dollar can break up, and get a close back at least above 73, if we can get a close above 73, and then really these highs up here, if we can then close above those, then I think we're really on a run towards this 75 area. So the Aussie dollar is, in fact, in the near term, holds a bit more interest for me than the euro dollar right now. The euro dollar I'm having to play a waiting game, and I'm still having to do that with Aussie, but the Aussie might be setting up that bit sooner. So we'll see with that. And again, we've got plenty of news coming out this week across different banks, central banks, but with the Aussie, if it does start to push back up, then watch out, because that one could be having a run at least well into the 74s anyway. So I'm certainly watching out for this Aussie dollar, waiting for a little bit more confirmation. And if it does push up, if it pushes down, then there's nothing to do. But if it does push up, and we get some closes up there, then that's really going to start to become more interesting to me. Anyway, that's it for me for this week. For today, obviously I wasn't around on Friday for live trading, but back business as usual this Friday. See you then.